just taking away map control, always taking initiative in all of these rounds, and FaZe could never find a way to develop the map after they would lose, let's say, A main repeatedly. They really struggled with retaking those positions as well.
Look at this. Got G2 stacking the A side, but FaZe running full speed into B from middle. They're gonna get the bomb down here, and this is a hard site to retake. Of course, it's gonna come down to the individual skill, and that's 4 CTs running through the vent.
Well, it's going to work apparently. Body is going to be smashing Rain and Carrigan, and it's down to Guardian and Nico on the bomb site. Guardian trying to do what he can here, create distraction for Nico. No one's looking from the vent position, and that's one for Nico. Can't find the player on low health. It's up to Guardian now. He's not got an AWP. The Glock will have to suffice. 3 players oncoming so quickly, and that is the defuse. Wow, how did G2 just ran in? I wish it was that simple. Why does that never work for me?
It looked crazy the way we saw from I'm not sure who's Rain's POV, where it's just 4 people running through the vent at the same time. It's the tiniest choke point in the game, basically. Wound up being very close even after those 2 kills from Buddy. Right there, Nico could have easily killed the second player in vent room. A bit unlucky. If he knew Kenny was so low, he'd have just gone peek wide, gotten that kill. But really nice retake by G2. I mean, they really just rushed in and just made it work.
I do wonder if maybe, you know, they've talked about it before and saying that we should just see the anti-eco situation here. Ooh, Nico actually getting some value with the Deagle. So I'll hold my horses a bit there with that one.
And FaZe look undecided.
Yeah,
not sure if they should go for it, because they must realize that there's a chance G2 are just pushing elsewhere around the map.
Good off angle for Kenny in Sunroom.
Let's see, Shox is the one player in the A side. He now spotted one of the FaZe players. He's going to see the action here. That's a sick shot from Nico.
Okay, so all of a sudden, the round looks really winnable. In fact, it looks like they will win the round altogether. Apex is in. He's going to find one. That's pretty nice, but Kenny now has a 1v2 on his hands, and it's not going to be an easy one. He does find a 1v1, but Guardian's going to win that, playing around the forklift, and that's an unexpected round to drop. But you're playing FaZe, and that's kind of what is going to happen all the time.
This was really the shot that swung the round around. I mean, Shox even played an off angle. It's not the kind of angle you expect the terrorists to peek and pre-fire, but obviously Nico just read the round perfectly. Got the 1v, closed out the round. It's a bit unfortunate for G2 because their flashes obviously did not at all surprise FaZe. They had 2 players posted up far away, and that's how they were able to kill them on that entry. But we saw G2 go for the aggression because it's so hard to play cash CT defensively.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Never want to just be sat there. But it's a very fast round for FaZe, so they've taken the initiative immediately. And they'll just go for the Molotovs on this. It's great. Again, this is another example of the difference between FaZe and other super teams. That FaZe have put in the work to have these executions of these set pieces for rounds like this, where we're going to be up against pistols. How can we make sure they don't ruin our day? Let's have a Molotov set piece ready to go on the A-bomb side.
And it worked beautifully. Of course, G2 basically were on a force buy once more, despite losing the second round. Really, most of the hope went down the second that Body died playing the NBK spot. Because once he died, FaZe knew that they had bot, as Kenny's just trying to get some kills, eventually, some value here at the end of the round. Because once Body died, FaZe not only knew that G2 had bot, because he was the only player with the rifle, but that was the only rifle out of the way, and no one was able to get to it. And that is this kill right there. He actually dinked Carrigan, is what gave away control of the site.
Well, where to go from here? G2, they have an awful situation on the money, and being on that CT side, it's really, really tough. We'll see MBK picking up the scouts, and
I mean, I just don't understand, like, what rationale G2 used to make these calls. Like, how is this the round that you force buy?
Yeah.
Well, FaZe seem to be fairly happy with that call on G2's part, because they're just running over them.
Yeah,
there's nothing they can do, and now G2 are still low on money. and they're gonna have to finally save.
Yeah, the FaZe seem very prepared for the force fight. And one thing as well about again, successful CT sides versus FaZe's cash in the past is having that economy so that you can have the ability to take away the map, and you can't do that without utility. You just need huge amounts of utility, so you can just re-smoke these forward positions, to flash into positions, to Molotov the T's out and away from the spots that they could be causing you issues for.
And ideally, you also want to have at least a single up.
That's always nice. But FaZe running another Molotov set piece here. They've got Carrigan coming in from the side with a Mag 10. It's a beautiful setup. This is a really good way to handle this round from FaZe. Have to appreciate it.
Carrigan trying in long range. Mag 10, not quite working out. Gets taken down by Kenny S. But it is going to be another round for FaZe, of course. It's going to make it 4-1. Just chasing the last two players. I mean, it's once again a scenario where there's really no reason for FaZe to be chasing these kills.
Kenny wanting to ninja a gun, perhaps. And in these spots, you always want to see if you can somehow find a weird 1v1. Or not even necessarily a weird one, but you could just find a normal one versus one. And steal away a gun.
No, a single rifle would be good loot for but it looks like the 3 remaining FaZe players have enough discipline to not go chasing for it. Let's see how we play with Carrigan's 2 kills. Coming up highway with the Mag 10, and then Apex taking down Rain. A clean P250 headshot. So now 4-1. I mean, G2's just 4-spot a couple times. Like, that's all they've done so far. But they already find themselves down 4-1. It's just really interesting from the outside looking in, because they're the only team who buys this way.
I like this though. I think you should always do this with 2 players. The pop flash play and just commit to it. And look at this position Kenny S has found himself. The only vulnerability you have is if there's pressure from door. But FaZe will decide actually to go for the mid-take. A pretty fast mid-take. Nice catch from Kenny S. And that's going to tell FaZe that, look, if you want to take A main, you're going to have to battle against Kenny S. Do you want to even attempt that? Because it does not look like they are interested. And that means G2 know that they're likely going to be playing into B, potentially. Depends how the checkers pressure goes, of which there is very limited amounts.
Apex needs otherwise the shot is going to get so tough.
Oh no.
Now Carrigan split the defense, and their last A player by car, I think it's Body, has to basically rotate. NBK only gets 1, and now Carrigan is here to catch off the rotator. He's only got 12 points of health, but it doesn't matter because his position is so good that it doesn't matter anyway. Kenny misses the shot, connects on the second, but it doesn't matter because the bomb's already planted all the way across the other end of the map. It's going to be 5-1 FaZe. Good start by G2, but Shox just basically wasn't ready for the aggressive middle push. As soon as Vent got mollied, he had to get out of there, and he still was in an okay position, but he just gets perfectly double peaked by 2 FaZe players, gets traded down middle, and that is what allowed Carrigan to get into CT connector and then get those kills on the rotating players.
And now G2, I guess they're going to be on the max loss bonus pretty soon. I guess now is it 5 in a row?
Yep.
So they've lost? Okay, yeah. So get that max loss bonus in there, which is always nice. So the buys will be pretty common here for G2. See how much they can get in this round. Okay, so it's going to look okay again. I mean, could be better, but this is definitely enough to work with.
Looks like a G2 buy.
I would love to see, once again, take A main. I think that's definitely along the right track.
Well,
go for it, through the flames.
Your wish will be granted, Dan.
This is good. I think this is needed. And there's a challenge, and they win the challenge. Kind of want them to hold on to the position.
That is some of one of the things that you need to do on the CT side, because you just can't hold default spot like we've said a couple times now. So then you have to play aggressive where you can. Trades in B, but Guardian kills Shox, and that's the kill that's now gonna fully open up the side for FaZe, and I think Nico's gonna get Apex off guard, rotating. And it's gonna be another very tough situation. There's no kit for the CTs unless there's one somewhere on the ground. Kenny! Oh, he doesn't get the
Oh.
shot. It's a leg shot on Guardian, who then proceeds to kill his teammate, and that's unfortunate.
Oh man, that's yeah, heartbreaking for Kenny. 6-1 now for FaZe. On that max loss bonus, $3,400 a round. Despite losing, must be nice, kind of.
Well, you know,
It's never nice to lose rounds, but
you
nice
get,
to have
you
money,
at least
nice
you
to
get
have
something
buys.
out of it. Save round for G2, so it looks like they are just going to go for the double ups, I would guess. Next round after this. FaZe going for a quick B push. Apex will be waiting.
Sitting at the back of the site. It's going to be really hard for G2 to bust back in here, even if they were to go 4 through the vent like they did the previous time. Apex with crazy spam off the 5-7 finds himself 2. That is very odd, and it's another one
Make
for
it
Apex.
3.
So,
And bombs down.
oh,
Make
the
it, that's 4 kills!
5-7 just spamming away. So racing players,
And that's the
ace.
ace. That's
Beautiful
the
from
ace
Apex.
for Apex.
Manages to pull it out of the bag.
I mean, that is what G2 does, though. You know, like nothing works for them, and then someone gets a pistol ace.
That was an ugly ace, though. I will say that. That's an ugly ace.
No, I mean,
This is why
this spam is not oozing confidence.
No, it doesn't look amazing, but it was effective. So can't argue with that.
When you get 5 kills, it's usually effective, but it was not pretty. So let's see if G2 can then leverage that eco round win into something more to get back into the game, which has been kind of slipping away. And Shucks once more just caught completely off guard, all alone in the middle with no one to help him. And I mean, that really has been the weak spot for G2 so far. NBK's got the second of the 2 ops now, together with Kenny. But look at this. Carrigan is once again just sneaking up highway. But Buddy checks it just in time. Carrigan is low enough on health that he really can't contest the peeking counter-terrorist. FaZe now walking to the A side. Look at this. Olofmeister and Nico just getting into the site. But G2 already know that somehow. Some traded kills. Olofmeister surely going to be maybe taken down? Surely, maybe.
Well, it's he's got the bomb now, and he's going to be booking it straight to the B bomb sites. Oh, he's maybe not. He's going to actually go back to door instead, and that is going to be not so pleasant potentially. Depends on who has the fast reactions. It's MBK with the op. Nice from MBK, and a good round from G2 to punish FaZe. You know, taking that mid control, just trying to peer up into the A site, trying to face the double op.
The one thing that G2 really needs to adjust on is how Shox plays middle, because he's really just going to run over. He's 1 and 8. He's done absolutely nothing in middle. He just gets killed every single round. So there's got to be something they can do to help him out as a team. Give him a teammate. Give him some more nades to work with. But it just really hasn't been working this way. And at the same time, we finally see some weakness in FaZe's economy. Rain is now having a CZ. They don't have all the nades anymore left, so this could potentially open up a way for G2 to get much closer to tying the map.
This would be a pretty key timing for a player from FaZe to sort of just go a bit ham, as we saw Olofmeister going nuts on Barrage. This would be another good opportunity potentially for FaZe to break G2 and get back the momentum. But is anyone going to go huge here? We've got the push coming in. Body defending well, taking out Carrigan. There's the plant from Rain. CT's waiting out the smokes. Set up that retake. Shot briefly on the catwalk. That's one for him. And number 2 as well. Gets a great position for all 3 kills. It's Olofmeister, though, who is left. How much can he do from this position?
Presumably 0. I think he was actually trying to just save his AK, but Kenny goes for the chase, takes him out. 4-6 now. The good news for FaZe is they got the bomb down, and that is the 3rd round in a row that they lose. Bad news is it's still not enough to go for a comfortable buy, so we might see a save round here. Shox is a nice lineup, and then also catches Guardian for the 3rd kill there. Easy retake for them. FaZe going for a bit of a half buy. And this is exactly the kind of round where FaZe is at their most dangerous, because it is the round where they by far exceed expectations the most.
Yep. And Kenny goes aggressive.
That's a nice peek.
That's beautiful. He has the cover of smoke and Apex to support. Re-smoke there from Apex. Flash to get into to check his position, to double check what's going on. Going a bit too far perhaps. It has Shox with him. Spray in, and that's the bomb found by Shox. He's going to commit to it, but somehow running CZ from Guardian, and perhaps the expectations will begin to be exceeded because it's a 3v3 with a minute 10, and FaZe do not have to commit to B. They can go back. But will they go back? They have a player on the sides. Will they just leave Nico here to cause distraction? And the bomb is coming as well.
That molly is going to force Kenny, I think, to fall back. Did it not go in? It didn't go in. What FaZe do you get into the site? Guardian and Nico in the site. We've got Carrigan in the vent room, but all three CTs coming through CT spawn. No one from the vents, and that's going to make it tough. Kenny does not connect on the first shot, kills Nico. Guardian down to low health now.
It's a hard spot, but he does manage to get the kill on his body, and that's going to be enough, it seems. Able to defend again, Guardian, to finish off the round 7-4, and again, a very key round to win against G2, who had started to pick up some rounds. But it may start to all disappear now because their money is only good for one rebuy.
That really was exactly the round that FaZe always wins. The kind of force buy just when the other team is getting into it. A bit unfortunate, Apex just wasn't at all aware that FaZe could be so close to beat that round. And then Guardian hits the running season headshot onto Shox. Either one of those things goes the other way. It's G2's round. But that's the breaks of the game, Dan.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, FaZe looking really good at the moment. It's really strong. MBK, I think, spotting a pixel through the smoke, but unable to connect the AWP just yet. And it's going to be a straight up push into the site here. We'll see how effective this is. FaZe understand that G2 love these ops, but Bonnie goes in for a big play straight into the A main position. That's actually worked out wonderfully well for G2. Still holding to the site, the bomb down on the ground in control of NBK. And Guardian can't quite seem to get any position.
NBK, of course, in his namesake position. In the A side. Guardian and Nico. Plenty of firepower to make something happen, but G2 are very well set up for any kind of push, and the bomb is just wide out in the open. Now the door is closed as well, so they're not gonna have to worry about that. NBK connects on a shot through a smoke. I don't think he was able to saw. He must have just shot towards the sounds. Yeah, exactly. So Guardian left in a 1v4, and surely at this point he'd be happy just saving this for the next round. But NBK will not let that happen. Gets his third kill of the round, 5-7, and FaZe are broke.
Very good timing from G2 to stop it all, and this is a really brilliant play. It's so disruptive. It's so utterly disruptive, and it makes MBK's life so much easier because it's already hard enough to trade MBK. But once Body goes in there, he completely messes up the spacing for the attack for the FaZe.
No, and that was, I think, it's Apex's flash to get in there just as they were executing, and that was a great call. FaZe going for a quick A push, and NBK is not ready for it, doesn't look like, but Body, luckily, for the G2 fans out there, ready to mow down the attacking terrorists. Oh, there's some trading going on. Guardian last man left, now low health. So easy round, both ops are saved for the next one, and G2 getting right back into it. 6-7 now. They've got far more money than FaZe does. Could still conceivably end up winning this half.
Yeah, it's not looking too bad at all, actually. Limited grenades here, really limited for FaZe.
You gotta figure they go back to their mid aggression, because that is how they were just dominating Shox and G2 early on. Yeah,
and I think especially with low utility, middle is a great, it's very, very, very easy to have. And wow, just straight like, spray battle and
just like that, Shox goes down once again. Apex, I'm not really sure why he was looking that way. Must have been talking to Kenny, try to see where it was at that time, but completely gets caught off guard. Carrigan once again on high. Once again, Body takes him down. Have you seen that play out before? And I think Kenny has now realizes that he's got to be under pressure in B.
Yeah, he's going to have a heroic defense because he may get isolated behind smokes and so on. Although there's no utility really for the FaZe side, they're going to have to do it with the raw shots, and they are. MBK missing a shot to straight up in the open. That could make the difference here. Could have made it 1v2, but now they're going to rush it down 1v3, and that's the round for FaZe once again. And Guardian's having a good game here. He's collecting all the kills.
He's been doing really well. There we see the replay of Apex is looking the other way.
I like the play though, the aggression. I think it was definitely necessary there at that point. Just lost mid control.
I don't think it was at all necessary for Shox to keep spamming with an AK through the smoke though. That was too easy for the terrorists.
that was too much.
When you're spamming out into the open, there's such a big area for you to be aiming at, whereas the terrorists, they're just shooting in that tiny Z area.
Yeah, it's
from very far away. It's much easier to make sure your bullets are connecting. NBK gets picked up by Nico, who's behind the door.
Nico's really amazing at playing the door position on the T or the CT side, so if that is something that you find yourself doing in cash games, you should absolutely watch Nico demos on cash. He's really good with it. Also, AWPing door, he's great
14 rounds, and Shox is no longer alone in middle.
And we get the boost shenanigans here.
That is how long it took.
He's gonna know, he has the timing, he needs to get the kills here. Able to get one, down to 15 health though, critically weak. How does he try to get away from this? Looks like he'll dive straight for the vent position. He's got teammates to support as well, but in the midst of all of that, they lost another player, and there goes one more. The bomb side is compromised. The timing from Shox is impeccable though. And he finds a frag on the way in. But surely he can't get anything else. Shox was still with one more, and now his body's on the scene. He'll go down though, and FaZe control the situation. 9-6, they're in favor of FaZe.
Just 1 point of health left for Nico. If body connects on one more bullet, 1v1, and that's might actually have been favorable for him. So I actually think that was a pretty good half for a G2, all things considered. It started off so terribly with their force buys gone wrong. Obviously, you know, a couple things could have broken out the other way. Maybe they probably shouldn't have lost the mostly eco towards speed. But yeah, all things considered, I think they should be relatively happy getting 6 out of that, the way the half is progressing throughout.
They're going to go for the straight B rush, but this time FaZe have decided to sort of stack B. So this is going to be much better.
Oh, look at this.
The double run boost.
Double run boost.
Very cute. Rain does not care for your double run boost. He would just kill you anyways. It's Guardian now with the final bullets, as well as Olaf Meister.
It was a nice idea, Dan. Nice thought. Unfortunately, you know, it didn't really go much longer than that.
Was it a nice idea though? Was it was it a good idea?
Look, if it's just one player spotting where Rain was, and there's a second player, let's say in heaven, yeah, I think as an idea it's fine. Also, part of the problem is that Rain just hits the first one bullet headshot on the first terrorist, which means the others are not going to be able to spread.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty critical shot. Getting that, getting the frag really quick. That first fast kill goes so far in these pistol rounds. It's interesting.
Well, because part of the problem is if the first terrorist gets really far, then as a CT, you're going to have to make a decision. You either shoot the first terrorist who's already out far on the left, or you shoot the others who are just trying to get in. And that's how they get into duels where at least one of them is going to be shooting at someone who's not even looking his way.
Yeah.
And you get the easy kill. Whereas if you get the first kill, as Rain did, then that's not really a problem. Rain follows up with 2 UMP kills. And the rest of G2 completely mowed down. By the way, a disciplined Glock save round, once again by G2. Unfortunately, this time, it was on after a pistol round where they did not get the bomb down. So it is going to be a fairly terrible looking buy now, with a couple of Galils being fielded.
That is really interesting, actually. Obviously, they didn't get the bomb down, did they? No, they didn't. Because, because
they got mowed down.
Because that's normally why you would do a full Glock save, is because you got the bomb down. It's like, well, we want those third round AKs, but they're doing it anyway. And they're operating with $800 less than what you would normally have in this situation. So it is interesting. And FaZe would likely have been very surprised to not see a force buy.
I'm sure they were expecting.
They had to be, yeah. And because normally this round will be then Glocks, because a team would want to save twice anyway after losing the pistol. So you might that's where the logic comes from. You know, you're gonna save twice anyway, so you might as well force buy once. Then you have a full save, and if you don't win that round or do damage, then that's fine. And then you have the AKs or whatever. But it does seem like a player has crashed, so we'll have a slight delay.
And this is another round that G2 very much would like to win. They did make a massive comeback on Mirage. They were down 5-12 in that 6-11. You know, it's one round better. So all hope is not lost. Also, I would argue that Cash Terror side is a much easier side to play than the T side of Mirage.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So let's see what G2 can do here. Obviously, kind of has to start here. Could still, you know, force the next round or 2 rounds from there and make just a mega comeback, but it just seems very unlikely. So this is probably where they need to get on the board to start the terrorist half. It is, I mean, when you're playing against a team like FaZe, if you lose either both pistols or, you know, you get ecoed, where it's the equivalent of losing both pistols, it's just so hard because you do need to play just near perfect Counter-Strike on the weapon rounds. And FaZe is the kind of team that really just forces a lot of errors. They rarely let anybody beat them playing just clean CS.
Oh yeah.
It's always sort of a bit of a brawl with them
It's like Fnatic.
because of all the skill that they have. You just have to win so many after plan type situations, clutches, 2v2s, 3v3s to be able to beat FaZe normally.
Yeah, it's very tough to play against them, and it's really interesting as well because they, again, we have a player crash, so just waiting for them to reconnect. So just jumping back into the studio. We'll be back hopefully with the match very shortly. But whilst we wait, it is really interesting from like how they'll develop their style over time because. I was saying, not sure if I said it yesterday or when Jason was on, but with regards to FaZe, I feel like, you know, it's how you manage the setbacks. That's really what really allows you to find out what your team actually is going to be like in the long term, is because that's really what you're going to deal with. The honeymoon period will be over, and then you know, for let's say a couple players will have suddenly bad performances in a tournament, and then you lose that tournament. And then it's like, okay, well, did you have the structure to fall back on? Because there was, you know, poor individual performances, and you're like, well, actually, we need more structure. And then all of a sudden, you're starting to make a team something that it wasn't originally, and that sometimes breaks teams. Sometimes that just does not work.
And the thing FaZe have going for them is, unlike G2, who basically had success first with a lot of these different roster versions that they've had, and never really developed this tactical game on top of it as the second layer.
Yep.
FaZe basically just had losses until Karrigan joined and gave them structure. So their players are sort of predisposed to understand that you do need the structure to make it work.
They appreciate it.
Exactly.
They appreciate it a lot more.
It's a big difference because it is, you know, if you are one of the best players in the world individually, I think you are going to be predisposed to just think, you know, we can just outskill these guys. And take a look at the stats so far. 17 rounds in, Karrigan nearly 1 kill per round. Everybody doing pretty well. It's not a big difference at all among any of the players. I mean, everybody on G2 has 10 or 11 kills.
But it's we can see the damage disparity though. Kenius is down there, but Kenius has been on the AWP in many rounds, and he's not really had any massive kind of Kenius rounds yet. So
no, he has not. But he also woke up late in the second half of Mirage. So let's see. Here is the force buy by G2, and BK now back on the server.
So FaZe, this is the thing. Like FaZe will expect this now. This buy. Okay, so they're running back to spawn, so it's not live. But FaZe will expect this buy just because they saw pure Glocks in the previous round. There's no reason to do pure Glocks in that round when you don't get the bomb down if you're not force buying in this round. There's just no reason, because otherwise, if you force buy or you buy deagles, what you deco one round and then the next round, and I actually like that a lot, by the way. I think especially with a team like G2, it's like just 2 rounds of decos instead of 1 round of force buy. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it solely depends on the personnel you have, right? Because to play with deagles, you basically need the good aimers who can connect on those first shots, like we saw in BK do in the first map. We've seen Kenius do over time, over and over again. Same thing applies for FaZe though.
Yep.
They've got they got a similar skill set in that sense, and part of it is on the second round. If you do go for the double deagle buy without armor, as you suggested. Part of it is on the second of those rounds, you might actually be able to catch the opponents off guard, because they actually by that point will be expecting a full save round, and every now and then you see players play differently. So you might be able to catch maybe an early kill to start off the round that way. Shock's gone for the utility buy, but just There's just so much utility on FaZe side, and they're still mostly running on SMGs.
Olaf going close to mid. Carrigan looking to give him a boost. Yes with a boost of his own and double peek, which is nice. Very cool actually. And hello Carrigan. That's not something you're going to be allowed to do. Can't just walk in like that, not up against Shox.
It's a shame that Shox has no help in middle, because they sure would have liked the peek there, but Rain gives up a kill. Olaf's still so low in middle. Just 12 points of health, and he's been left all alone. Let's see if Kenny can take him down. Ooh. And he does. That actually looked a little questionable. Yeah, they're in the middle of that. But 4v2 now. Nico is still in the A side. FaZe have one player in each of the bomb sites. G2 are just taking their time, just trying to find out information. NBK should spot Nico here any second. But I think they just barely miss one another. G2 are starting to group up towards A now, with the exception of Body, who is walking up towards B. So presumably he's going to check B by himself. He's going to notice there's no one there. And then it's just a question of, do G2 still run all the way back? Well, not anymore, because there's 15 seconds left. They have to go into the A side, despite knowing that the last player alive from the FaZe side is there. Nico burns alive though, so that's crisis averted.
Yeah, that's a funny spot, because Nico can't escape anywhere if he gets the kills at all. He would have to like get a triple with the UMP there. That would have been really fun, because I was looking at him like, well, it's Nico.
It could still happen.
He can do that.
It's not inconceivable.
He can do that. I believe in Nico. Well, we got a pretty poor spot for FaZe on the utility. Let's see if they can manage it. Again, with a utility like this, you sort of want to take risks. You want to take risks. You want to take map control.
Look at this. They're going for the double boost. Who was it who got the ace just a couple days ago from the double boost?
I don't know.
Someone was boosted up with an AK, and there's the exact same setup. So the first guy on the boost was peeking down A main, just like Nico is from top of the door. He got killed, and then no one looked at the top, and the second player there just got a free kill, free ace basically, just shooting 5 people in the back.
Free ace, nice.
So FaZe is the first to copy that, it seems.
You know which game that was? Tweet me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, someone tweet me which game that was. I'm sure the highlight is not hard to find. Now I'm curious who we should be crediting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Rain can look away. The poor timing. It happens in Counter-Strike, but he has Guardian and Carrigan to fall back on the bomb side. But Guardian is burning, and he's dead. He's gonna roast. Beautiful stuff from G2. I love it when teams realize how strong the executes can be on the B bomb site. If you push the CTs all the way onto the site and then Molotov it, and there's just like 2 Molotovs can cover everything.
No, I mean, the thing is, if you actually do get close enough to properly execute into the site, it's very hard to play just about anywhere. Well, look at this, Olaf just runs out of the vent, and Kenny is just not at all ready for that peak, and now we've got Apex left in a 1v2.
Oh my god, Olaf Meister, what on earth is that?
And that was a meltdown on G2's part. They were even set up fairly well for that retake, and they basically just allowed Olaf Meister to take 3 one-on-one duels without anybody trading at any point in time. That was definitely a misplay on their part once they got to that point.
Olaf Meister. Well, it's this is nuts. He had such a crazy game on Mirage as well. It's good to see him getting in there now on Cash. Also on the CT side as well. There's that T side of Mirage which he made look amazing.
So this is now another sort of a must-win for G2 considering the money situation.
Execute on the B bomb side, I think. It's going to be an interesting one.
Oh, and Guardian just connects through the smoke.
That's really annoying. That's really annoying. Oh, that's a good frag.
Body just basically pre-fires Rain. So he was wise to their setup, no question about it. All of Meister coming through the vent again. Bad news was last time for G2 anyway. Now Body takes him out too.
Got Guardian on the side though. They have no Molotovs left. Perhaps Apex have some of the key grenades. He went down so early. So this is interesting because they can leave a guy in checkers, just continue to pressure whilst they take mid.
And that's a good smoke by Body, because he was gonna go down any second there. But let's see. Take a look at this. Will Carrigan be able to catch NBK?
Oh my god. Oh my god. The timing is unreal.
NBK also can't connect on the kill. And now they both just know where they are, but they can't really do anything with it. And it looks like the hit is finally going to come into B now. Guardian still into the site.
What can
it's
he do?
It's a massive over-rotation from FaZe, and something needs to happen here.
Yeah, Guardian's got a...
G2, you need to go into the site.
Yeah, Guardian's got a pretty good position. They have a flank.
No, they're boosting.
They're boosting out. They're making this really interesting. As the rotations come in, they're going to get a free plon onto the B bomb site. The sacrifice was one player. I guess you could maybe argue that that's 2 players. But this might work out really well here because look, the positioning here and catching the rotations is working out for MBK. Another 1v1, but it's Guardian with the AWP. He's not going to win that battle. It's up to Shox now. Again, Shox has not had the best game. This would be an immense clutch for him to pick up. There's one. Now he's known. And oh, he gets dinged and the flames get him.
Just barely gets the kill.
Wow. That's awesome. It's rare that you actually see a mutual kill right at the end, so no one's left alive.
That was a smart play by Guardian, though, because obviously G2 must have thought that he was just going to run out of CT spawn. That's why they were swinging wide to try to kill him early. But Guardian figured there was a risk they were going to be holding for him, so he peeked out with an op, was able to take out NBK, still give him a chance. Shox just barely gets the kill in the nick of time before burning alive. And just like that, FaZe at another save round, G2 getting back into it. Nice round by Body, who got the first 2 Endra kills in B. He's someone who's really developed quite a bit, I thought, throughout this year.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, it didn't really seem like he was finding his place in the team yet, to the same extent. But this year, he's definitely made a leap.
He's amazingly good, actually. It's nuts.
G2 taking their sweet time for the first time in forever. They're playing slow, Dan. They're methodically holding different parts of the map for a push.
Well, they don't have a huge amount of utility in this round.
It hasn't stopped them before.
Yeah.
Look at that. Body even falls back.
Oh,
what is this?
Rain's in there.
Oh, this is bad news.
Oh.
Ooh.
Kenny with a CZ. Good man to have be the first man.
Mm-hmm. The Guardian has now rotated in, so he's going to be the second counter-terrorist. To see action here this round. Ooh, and this is actually going to be dangerous, because the way they're set up in B, the terrorists are going to see the player in the site first, and presumably Guardian will be able to connect on some easier kills after. And Nico just gets the smoke down. This could actually go horribly wrong for G2.
Nico's in a great position with the UMPs. Oh, it was so good, the angle, but still spotted out somehow. As G2 are yet to lose a player, and they bear down upon the bomb site. Carrigan will get squeezed and suffocated. Just Olofmeister now. Looking for some Deagle frags. Might get 1 or 2. Looking for perhaps a cheeky AK pick up, but I don't know that. He'll be able to do that. Too many players, too many man. Too many man.
And that was a nice recovery from G2 as they entered the site. It was looking dangerous here. I think if Nico got about 3 feet further on the other side, then he would have been able to kill 1 or 2 as they were shooting at his teammate. But G2 just catch him in the nick of time. And obviously 2 nice shots by Shox and Apex to clear out the B site. This is going to be a save for FaZe. It's going to be 10-12. Well, I mean, hold on. Let me take that back. It should be 10-12.
Yeah, you never know. One flash.
If we think about it statistically, it should turn into 10-12 after this round. But we'll see. The Body is going to see the push. He's seen 2 CTs now. Doesn't know if there's more, but at least 2. Apex connects.
Everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
Not for Rain, of course, who is burning alive.
It's all over. At least these eco rounds have been pretty brief. 12-10 is the score right now for FaZe.
And this is now getting to that territory where every single round the terrorists win, they just add up more money, whereas FaZe's money situation, even if they start winning, they can't afford to lose even after winning 2 rounds essentially. Because they're still gonna be broke. So lots of pressure starting to build on them. Still not a lot of utility for FaZe.
So the check is clear there. Molotov close. Can slowly progress into that position. FaZe look like they want to fight though.
Interesting boost. In checkers.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Oh, smoke down though, you can't see much. Out comes the grenade, spotted out.
That's an unfortunate timing.
Now it's up to Guardian to hold the line here on the bomb site, but again, they have Molotovs. They're boosting into the vents, which is smart. Body can assist his teammates back into this position, perhaps spotting out the white box player. And there's the trade in mids. So Carrigan's dead, and back out they go towards A, and they've been consistently doing this. Heavy pressure really looks to be, but then they go A.
Oh, and NBK just takes out Nico. That could have been a big fight.
Okay, they do expect the second guy there. That's insane. I thought the double boost out was supposed to get the ace. Where's the ace at?
Well, I mean,
I feel robbed.
Well, I can tell you why. Because the player who got the ace was Ethan.
Oh, okay.
Of course he got the ace.
Yeah, no one's as good as Ethan as well, so
exactly.
You can't pick.
So I've got about, I want to say, 30 notifications.
Oh, nice.
So that was, that was solid. Didn't take very long to get the answer.
Ethan's ace at the minor. Lovely. Right, well, so it's Guardian trying to save the AWP. We're both looking at Twitter there, so very unprofessional, but it's all over now. Oh, no. Oh, the AWP. No, the AWP.
Listen, me and Dan both subscribe to the sometimes less is more line of thinking. And, sometimes it's good to have some quiet time.
Some dead air, yeah. Dead air is fine. I think dead air can be experimented with a lot more in Counter-Strike.
I fully agree.
I think sometimes James and me have some cards where we leave a lot.
Listen, Dan.
Sometimes.
Silence is only awkward if you make it awkward.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah, I agree.
So another save round now for FaZe Clan. That is going to give G2 a chance to tie up the game in another massive comeback after being down. So this is very impressive for G2 in that sense. They've started down 5-12 and 6-11. Made it at least a close game in both these scenarios. Let's see what they can do. NBK is now forward. He's the Nico equivalent for his opponent.
Shock's in a fantastic spot here in checkers, trying to clear out these players on the bomb site. There's only one at this point. More or less always playing the site.
Shox really has had some of the most memorable entry kills on this map in general. There's a lot of highlight clips floating around the internets with Shox clearing out both the A sites and the B sites.
I'm wondering here if FaZe actually are going to be able to stabilize at all, or rather, not even stabilize, it's not the right word.
Well, they're going for the double op now. There's no question about it. The double ops are out. And it's Nico and Guardian on this map. It's not Carrigan.
Nico's really good at pushing door, and he's got a great spawn for it, so let's see how he does that. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for it.
I'd be surprised if FaZe don't try to take control of A main.
Okay.
Either that. Well, yeah, I would guess that simply because their middle pushes haven't worked so far, so I'm not sure if they would go for that again. But I think it looks like you're right. No, Nico's settling in quad.
Damn it.
But look at this setup from FaZe.
Boost here, trying to spot out what could be a setup for...
See, if they still had Kiyoshima, he could just go there all by himself with an op and get that kill. Yeah. They wouldn't need someone boosting.
Yep. Kiyoshima is pretty godlike. I respect his highlights.
Body just burns alive.
As you do.
Completely burns alive. Down to 3 health. It's going to make things tough.
Yeah, this is not... I mean, G2 were very good at previous rounds at pressuring checkers, getting in there, boosting out after forcing rotation to B, then just basically once the CTs are out of position, then they take the fights with them, and then that's sort of how they've been winning some of these rounds. So now going for a really late B set piece.
Yep, it's going to be the same double molly execution that they ran before.
And they cut noise
Rain is going to be the key player here. And it looks like Body is going to be lurking in middle, so he's just going to be waiting for a flank, potentially trying to flank himself later on. And he's going to also hear the CTs in middle getting towards Fen.
This is really interesting because they've almost always played Guardian on the site, but this time faced with a very different setup. Will GT be prepared for this? They are really changing their approach as well. Carragher gets the first one in middle, and there's a double for Rain, holding down the Checkers position. And with the bomb making its way in and quickly finding itself at the mercy of Olaf, it's going to be a problem for Kenny to even get over there.
No, and the best case scenario here for Kenny is that he saves his weapon, but FaZe are going to swarm him the second the time runs out, no doubt.
It looks like FaZe have done it.
Never mind, they're actually going for the save. Well, I guess that is because G2 do have so much money in the bank that it wouldn't really matter. This play is what actually won them the round. Nice spray transfer by Rain. And like you said, G2 just were not at all expecting for that kind of setup because it wasn't what they'd been running this entire half. So let's see. 1-2-2 setup once again.
Yeah, it looks like GT might speed up the pace a bit. And again, it's some of these Checkers plays that they've been going for. I think it's been really effective, and I don't think there's too much reason not to continue. Just trying to pressure into Checkers. They've often been getting the kills. They've been winning that position. It's been where they've had a lot of success as far as...
It is the area they like to control.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So
they are the one team that I think often gain control of it just to boost up back towards middle as Guardian gets the entry kill onto Shock, so that's gonna be tough for Olaf. But the problem is G2 aren't there to actually trade the kill once he starts burning.
Yeah, that's kind of sucks. And Kenny's in a pretty awful spot here. There's not much he can do. Yeah, you know, it's always heartbreaking when you see, you know, a team like, oh, you know, they've done the right thing. They've thrown the Molotov into a position, but then they don't wait for that.
No, would have been a free kill on Olaf if they just waited a second, and instead he gets 2 kills and lives. So that completely swings the outcome of the round. Not really sure that G2 are gonna go for this. It looks like both NBK and Kenny are just looking to see if someone, where to get the free kill. Unfortunately, Nico's double zoomed into A main as NBK walks into his crosshair. The Frenchman has no chance. And the best Kenny can hope for now is just to get a couple of kills and save his magic stick.
Yep.
For the next round. 2 out of 5, but unfortunately gets spotted by Nico running into the terrorist spawn. 14-12. And it looks like FaZe indeed are able to stabilize.
Indeed.
To answer your question from earlier.
Do you ever play Dota?
No.
Okay. Magic Stick is a Dota reference. If you knew that. Okay.
I
Okay.
had no clue whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure it is because it's a very sort of famous item from Dota, but
What does it do?
maybe I'm wrong. So it's like a sort of starting item. It just collects like charges when people cast spells and stuff around you. It collects charges, and then when it has enough, it heals you and so on for a lot of health.
All I know about Dota is all my Finnish teammates used to always tell me that I have the boots and travel because I walk so fast.
I like that. That's awesome.
So another pretty good buy for and basically a perfect buy for G2. They spent so much money on those anti-eco rounds earlier that despite 2 just like dominant round wins for FaZe, they've still got a lot of money to work with.
Ooh, looks like there's a lot of typing here. This might not be live. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not live. See, the thing with boots of travel, right, is that yes, they make you run really fast, but they also allow you the ability of teleportation, which I guess if you had that, then
that's the part that I've always missed.
yeah.
So I you know, maybe I got shorted when I bought my boots.
Yeah.
So that's the feature.
They're just defunct. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the feature that I really needed this whole time, all these years. I've given up months of my life to sit in airplanes.
I know, it's nuts.
Imagine that.
That's a crazy thing, right? When they invent a pill that fixes jet lag, which might be possible, actually, because you know recently I think there was a Nobel Prize awarded to a couple scientists, or a few scientists, because they actually figured out how the circadian rhythm actually works properly now. So maybe that means that they can manipulate it to an extent. Maybe we'll have some jet lag curing pills. That'd be amazing.
I've always done pretty well with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't. I have not. I have definitely
For,
not.
for me, it's more so just, you know, I'd like to not spend so many hours in an airplane.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's more so than the adjustment period of getting to another place.
So you're all for Elon Musk's, new methods of transportation.
Well, we could also just figure out a way to slow down the speed that the Earth spins on its axis, make the days longer.
Okay. But you're still sitting on a plane for a long time.
Well,
The passage of time is the same for you. That's kind of the problem, right?
That is the problem, but it would help. It would help in many other.
You're only saying this because you don't sleep as much as normal human beings.
Exactly.
So you get such a sick advantage.
I know. I get operational leverage on
That's insane.
everybody else.
Well, it looks like. Did we have a crash? What was going on?
NBK needs a new computer.
He crashed
obviously.
again. Yeah, MBK. He was the guy who crashed earlier as well. So he's slowing everything down. So if you have if you are experiencing anxiety because the game is paused, then you have to send your blame to MBK. Tweet MBK. Get a new computer, perhaps.
I mean, we really should be past the days of just like tons of crashing. I
Honestly,
feel like.
we're past the days of DDoS. That's really all I can ask. That's honestly, remembering back to the days of DDoS.
Those were rough
God.
days.
Oh
Luckily, I've forgotten the worst of it because it's been so long. But he actually used to ruin basically every single online match ever.
Every game.
And I mean, that is also what killed IRC. IRC was fantastic until morons figured out how to get your IP no matter what, and then just game over.
And that's it. You're done. But that's the thing. Like we would actually have there's no exaggerating there. Like DDoS all the time, just for every game because people are betting on matches
and for almost every tournament too. Like so many tournaments struggle with that because there's always someone who leaks the IP somehow.
Yeah. Then the venue goes down.
Just bad times, man. Those were not good days.
Our studio finals was DDoS as well. Like the FaZe, I think. Were you there? You were there, right? Were you there? No.
Not the studio finals. I was at the Milan one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was the one after that, I think. Yeah, because we had DDoS there, and there was like a 2-3 hour delay for the finals. I think it knocked out the internet of the entire building and some buildings nearby as well. So it's like, I think we ended up getting like phone internet. We got some phone internet and streamed the finals with that. It was crazy, but yeah, we're past the dark ages, those times.
Yes.
Terrible times, and we're back into the match as well. So 14-12 is where we left off. FaZe looking pretty good at the moment. G2 running out of steam, not having the success they had previously on that checkers area of the map, and that may be the root of their failure lately.
Let's see what they do here this round to adjust. I mean, this is really the round that they need to win because otherwise they're gonna be almost broke. Rain just moves out of position as he would have met Body there, but he did kind of look like Body was looking up there. Guardian spamming the wall, but not quite at the right spot where Shox is sitting behind. This NBK kind of staying on peak.
Much slower rounds.
Look like it
from G2. Very slow round. Normally you would expect a mid take around this time if nothing really has happened. It's the most common play for teams to make around the 1 minute mark. And they have two players on the extremities, so once you get mid, it's great because you get options towards A and towards B, and based on what happens in mid, you can then understand which of those choices you take.
And this is such a crazy duel because Kenny knows Guardian is there. Shox really had no chance in middle because he'd been seen so many times throwing a molly, throwing a flash out. They knew exactly where he was. There's no way to win that. Olaf goes for the peak, basically just to try to save Carrigan. Doesn't quite work out. But Carrigan gets the second kill onto Kenny, and then Nico kills Apex at the same time in A. So now it's all down to NBK inside.
Boy, he misses his first shots. Oh, it's the second kill will come. It's an arduous one, a laboured one, but he'll be able to get the bomb planted. Nade damage is pretty severe. There's the challenge. Gets his gun out in time, but can't connect the one bullet he needs. This was actually an awesome round from G2 because what they realized is that normally it's weird to see that with 5 players left alive at 1 minute that you have 3 CTs in middle still. That's usually why you have a delayed mid take on the T side. It's usually the CTs will have players, less players in mid at that time. But then G2 realized, and they're like, okay, well we have players in the extremities, So they got the bomb in the position where it was rotated, but Nico was watching it from Kai to hit the shot through the smoke. So
Problem for G2 was that because FaZe were playing in middle with 2 players, they knew the whole time that 149er give Kenny S the name of bodies up. You know what the 149 is in 49 seconds is in reference to? It's the spam. It's the name of his op. You're gonna see right here. Bodies 149 is.
That's
or give
awesome.
to Kenny S.
That's really cool. That's awesome, actually. I didn't notice that. That's amazing.
A lot of the time, you don't see the weapon names nowadays, so that's why
Yeah,
they sneak up on you.
that's really cool. 149. Okay. That's so awesome. It's actually amazing. Well, the door's been opened.
So the entry kill goes the way of G2. Second kill as well.
Eco challenge. Eco will succeed. FaZe are looking pretty damn good in this round. The bomb is down. Oh, it's all up to Kenny S now. Kenny. What are you going to do with Body's AWP? What the hell are you going to do here? There's players all over the place to worry about. But while he's making incredibly large amounts of noise, they know exactly where he is. Smoke will provide some level of cover. He's going to have to hit an insane shot. Player above, a player below. It's really difficult. It's Nico to finish it off. 16-12. FaZe. They've done it. They've done it.